How do you measure beauty? You take a ruler and say 12 inches by 14 inches? Is that how you measure beauty?
No.
Or how do you measure serenity? Or peace of mind? Or other emotions that might be evoked in each one of us when we walk into a place like this? You can't measure that, can you? And how do you put a price on that? And yet, those are values that we all value.
You built your lodge, your village, around where there was water. You needed it as an individual, the rest of your family needed it, also your animals needed it.
Nice and quiet out here. And this river out here, it means a whole lot to everybody. Yeah.
Water is what keeps us alive. And if we don't have any water, I think the whole world would die. So, water is great, water is cool, water rocks.
This is where it all starts. Here we are at the headwaters. We're at Rainbow Falls in Jones Gap State Park. This is one of many threads of the web of water. We hope you'll join us on this adventure as we follow this waterway from the mountains to the sea, listening to the stories that it has to tell. Come join us.
I'm Scott Stegenga. I'm the interpretive ranger at Table Rock State Park. We're showing these 7th grade students from Pickens Middle School. They've been coming out weekly studying various things. One of their main topics of study is the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, and what they did at Table Rock and in South Carolina. And one of the things that they focus on today is this area here where the CCC's built this fish rearing setup. They diverted the water from the creek to a stone gutter that they built, which goes into a pipe which feeds, it's all gravity flow, and it feeds into the main pools over here. There's a dozen of them. And the students are coming to see how that was set up. They're helping to clean it out a little bit. We're hopefully going to get some water flowing through it to get them the idea of how that took place. To feed these various pools back in the 30s when they built them. The trout that they raised here was rainbow trout, and they needed very cold water. And of course the natural stream is just the ticket for that because it's cold coming out of the mountain. And the CCCs used this area as they found it. You know, they set this up. They didn't knock a lot of trees down because they needed the shade to keep that water colder. They just used the natural flow, which worked pretty well.
Earlier, we were meeting with the Pickens School 7th graders, and they were testing the turbidity of the water. They were also testing the dissolved oxygen, and they were testing the pH of the water. It's different up here than it is down there in the coastal zones.
My name is Jamie Chapman. I'm 12 years old, and this is the poem I wrote. My temperature is getting warmer. I need it to get colder because I need my oxygen to keep my water clean. I'm getting more turbidity inside of me. My pH level is getting bad. I need my water to get colder. That way I can keep my water clean. Help me by planting some trees to get my temperature down.
The Appalachians is a well-known mountain chain, and many people realize that it's a very old mountain chain, but in fact, what we see now as the Appalachians were really 3 major collisions that happened in the geologic past to cause this bodily, uplifted, spectacular mountain chain that we now see the eroded roots of. They have been eroded down considerably. How much, we don't know, but because they've been eroded off, it's something like taking the weight off a cork, and so it rises. And the southern Appalachians are now going up and rising because of the weight of all the rock that's been removed from them.
here on the highest part of South Carolina, Sassafras Mountain, we have a tree, and there you have Freddie the fungus meeting Annie the algae and taking a liking to each other. Lichen all over the base of the tree. But just like what we'll see farther down and throughout the state, and even as far as the low country. The character of the rivers changed again. As we go through the Piedmont, we start off in that winding part of the upper Saluda, and now it's opened up into this wide, flat water of Lake Greenwood. Just leaving Greenwood State Park and now paddling towards the hydroelectric dam. All the lakes along the Saluda River are man-made. Now they provide hydroelectric power and recreation for the residents around here and for the tourists that come into this area.
And talk to the fish.
Oh, you almost got it. Oh, yeah.
I wish some, bigger fish would be caught today, so y'all can see what's the difference between a white perch and a crappie and a striper and a regular black bass. But they got a little bit of, even a carp. They got carp out here too.
And in Greenwood is the town of 96, misnamed because they thought that was about 96 miles away from the trading post of Kiowa with the Cherokee Indians. Again, that was so important when the Native Americans would trade the deer skins up and down this same waterway.
Have you ever been feeling like everything against you or something like that? I come to the water. And that's what it means to me. It means to me to come, my trouble go down the river. That's right. It sure do. You're getting a lot of worry, come on to the river, sit down. Sit out there. Sometimes I don't be fishing. I just sit there throwing the thing in the water, and after a while, I feel good. I get in my truck and go home.
All life is connected by this web of water. We're going to follow the thread a little bit farther down and then see what happens as we get closer to the middle of the state near the sandhills.
Hi, Corolla. What I've just said is hello in Siouan language.
Native Americans seem to understand the balance of nature early on and respected the balance of nature.
And probably more than anyone else right now, okay? Probably still have it more in our thoughts than anyone else. It doesn't matter what part of the country we're from, the East Coast, the mountains, the West Coast, the Northwest. You built your lodge, your village around where there was water. You needed it as an individual, the rest of your family needed it, also your animals needed it. I'm going to close out with another Siouan word, aho, and the meaning is, may it forever be.
That water that's in your body right now might have been up in the Appalachian Mountains. In fact, it might have been in Africa at one time. It might have been in the crust of the earth. It might have been drank by a dinosaur. Oh, it might have been grown into a plant, might have sucked up by the roots. It might have shot through those leaves and went up back up in the air. It might have probably traveled right down this waterway right here and sucked up by something else.
Oh yeah, we might have drunk that.
And then you went ahead and you drank it. And now it's running your body right now.
Yeah, we drunk that water.
And all the stuff that's in it. Can you imagine that? Those plate tectonics, that deposition and the erosion creates a phenomenon here in the sandhills known as the fall line. You have all this sedimentary rock of the coastal plains that's eroding a lot quicker than the metamorphic rock and the igneous rock of the Piedmont and the mountains. And as that erosion goes a lot quicker, you end up with a big shelf that comes right across several states. This fall line changes the character of the river again as you see it dropping off with rapids, and you'll see people whitewater kayaking in these rivers right here in the middle of the state. Here we are on the Broad River with Karen Kustovic, who's a wealth of knowledge about this area because she's the park ranger coordinator. And we're right at the Broad River, and you can see this Broad River has a lot of character with it. It is going to join together with the Saluda, where we've been following from the mountains. And the Broad River is going to come together with the Saluda River and form the Congaree. And these three rivers smack right in the middle of the state. This happens to be where we've decided to make the capital of the state of South Carolina. Karen, thank you so much for coming and talking with us today.
I'm so glad you visited with us. Thank you.
Thanks. Can you tell us a little bit about these three rivers and their effect on this area?
Well, this is a really dynamic system. The Broad is a huge watershed and it drains a great deal of the upstate. So while it looks pretty calm today in flood, if we were standing here, the water would be up over our heads. And so this rich floodplain forest that's on the sides of us has accumulated over years of deposits of silt from the upstream. There's a really healthy, nourishing system. As we go downstream a little bit today, we'll get to see how wonderful and diverse it is. And as we come through, we'll see lots of braided islands where the Saluda and the Broad have met over millions of years. They've dropped and interplayed together, dropped sediment and formed all these great islands, and they are home to all sorts of wonderful secrets. I hope we get to see lots of that today. But we've got great history here as well. This diversion dam, built in the 1890s in order to funnel water into the Columbia Canal. The Columbia Canal was built for hydropower and powered the first electrically powered textile mill in the world, the Columbia Cotton Duck Mill, which is now the State Museum. The city also uses this now for its drinking water. So if you live south of I-20 in Columbia, your drinking water is coming right past us right now.
Oh, I've been coming out here ever since I was about 18 years old. Yeah. I come out here when I have a lot on my mind and stuff like that and want to get it off. I just take a notion and come fishing. That's the best thing I could do. It's more relaxing than anything because it's nice and quiet out here. And this river out here, it means a whole lot to everybody. Yeah.
In the Congaree National Park, standing up an amazing place. And we're standing with John Rood, who used to be a guide here for several years, and he also has a background in archaeology. He has a wealth of knowledge about this area. Thanks for coming, John.
Good to be here.
We're going to get on the water and see what other stories the swamp has to tell us.
You know, a lot of people really think this area it resembles a church because as you go down the creek, you're surrounded by these
these trees like a cathedral ceiling, so they get sort of a religious experience from being in a forest like this. Going back to the biodiversity, there's just so much living here that perhaps it is a shrine in some ways, you know, so it gives people a better appreciation of what their world's all about sometimes, I think. You've got about 11,000 acres of old growth in the Congaree. Now some of this has been logged, and actually in 1910, Francis Beidler protected this area because he saw it as the last forest of its type. He was like, who would I be if I cut it all down? So it was actually good to have somebody that was conservation-minded back then. There was a big movement. You have to remember, Theodore Roosevelt creates the Park Service in 1898. During that time period, people were starting to realize that maybe we were using up too many resources even back then.
And we can actually pull out some of this rich mud here, this rich soil. And this is called muck swamp. Now you need to take a sniff of this. Look at the first sniff. It's delicious. That's rich soil. So take a sniff of that.
Oh yeah, that's
we're gonna let you take a sniff too. Here, take a sniff of this soil. Smell it? Rich soil. Now we have to have that rich soil to survive. All of us, not only humans, but also all the plants, all the animals here in the Congaree have to have rich soil. Without it, nothing would grow here. So that's a requirement for all life, not just the life here at Congaree. So pretty neat, huh? Rich soil. You like mud pies?
You package that up and rub it all over people's bodies.
Look at them fellas, you're about to fall. Look at them fellas, you're about to fall. Wait till the bridges won't button up the old groundhog.
We were talking about the biodiversity here and the variety of life, and we had over 170 different kinds of birds in the Congaree, and we find more all the time. One of those birds is a barred owl. And the barred owl is about this big usually, pretty good sized owl. And he's found often right here around us, around the trees. And this is a southern owl, and his call sounds like, who cooks for y'all? Hear that southern accent?
Yeah.
Okay, so he says, who cooks for y'all? But he doesn't say it in English. So this is what his call sounds like. Did you hear the southern accent?
I heard it.
Okay, I'll try it again. And I was trying to wake him up. If there's one around here and he hears that call, he'll answer us. So one more time.
At the historic old Santee Canal Park, and we're here with Brad Sale, who's the environmental education coordinator here at the park. This is a beautiful place, full of wildlife and full of stories that the Web of Water has to tell. Brad, thank you so much for being with us.
Well, welcome.
What can you tell us about this park?
Well, the name of the park is Old Santee Canal Park, and it's named after the Old Santee Canal, which is the first canal ever built in America. It was completed back in the 1800s, and it connected the Santee River to the Cooper River, so there was a safe and quick access for goods going from the upstate down to Charleston, and then Charleston up to the upstate. This swamp, commonly referred to as a Tupelo cypress swamp, and that's because the two dominant trees are your bald cypress and your Tupelo gum. You have some other grasses, which are your marsh cut grass. Some people call it wild rice grass. That grass is really what holds the swamp together, and it really holds that sediment in and it prevents it from being swept down the river. And so it kind of has that spongy effect that really characterizes this area as a swamp.
Everybody should come out and visit this place. This is a beautiful part of the web of water. See all the wildlife. Old Santee Canal Park. Waterways mean different things to different people, but it sure has always been an inspiration to artists. And we have a wonderful artist with us, and we're paddling in her backyard.
Here's Charleston. This is where we are right now. And we are on this creek. We're about at that notch. My interest is in the individuality of the rivers, like the North Edisto, the South Edisto, the Santee, the North and South Santee. Those rivers as well start to have a personality that changes with the tide and the time of season. My work has become rather historically important because I'm documenting the land as we see it today. I have a band called Lime and the Coconuts, and I'm the lime and the coconuts are all my musician friends. I play guitar and banjo, stand-up bass, mandolin, and squeeze box. Not all that great, but I really think music is one of the most fun things that you can possibly do. You're a musician, right?
Yeah.
What do you play?
I play the wind instruments, but mainly the saxophone.
The saxophone. Do we get to play tonight?
Yeah, we get to play tonight.
Wow, that is so exciting.
Charleston Harbor, and as we get here we're met with the kids with cameras, and we had a chance to talk about kayaking and talk about this web of water and try to connect them to it as well. You gotta look out for that big shark that's coming by on the side. You see it? You saw a big dog? Want a picture of you in the kayak? We've come all the way from the mountains, through the Piedmont, through the sandhills, all the way down around the peninsula of Charleston and back up the Ashley River to here. This is Magnolia Gardens. Here we're going to meet with Hot Gap Middle School, and Hot Gap Middle School is part of the environmental education program by the Department of Education of South Carolina. And they are part of the program that's infusing environmental education in the schools. You see that magnolia tree there? Is that a monocot or a dicot? Dicot. It's a dicot. Early in this colony's history, a young man named Dr. Henry Woodward, who was also responsible for building and developing the Native American deerskin trade, planted the first seeds from Madagascar that would be later on known as Carolina gold. Rice made the planters of South Carolina the wealthiest men in America. Evaporation. Evaporation. Sublimation. Sublimation. Transpiration. Transpiration. As we've traveled through all these regions, we've learned that we are all connected. All life is connected by this web of water. It's been a great adventure. Thank you for being with us.
The more development that comes into Berkeley County and just the Low Country in general, the more important that places like the park are going to be for people.
And I know I need this. I need this for my solace. Don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
What was
That was a
that?
big fish.
That fish almost jumped inside the canoe.
Yeah, that one wanted to be with us.
Have you ever been feeling like everything against you or something like that? I come to the water. And that's what it means to me. It means to me to come, my trouble go down the river. That's right. It sure do.
The world couldn't exist without water.